Yo, what's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to the podcast, another episode of Caffeine and Green with your man, Connor Cardenas, and we're going to switch it up today. Guys, I want to talk to you real quick about a Kickstarter that I had just launched yesterday, August 16th, 2021. Today's the 17th, and we are releasing a new podcast. So I wanted to take this chance to tell you about the Kickstarter that I launched. If you guys have listened to the podcast before, we're doing, of course, I'm roasting. I'm bringing you like the amazing coffees that you guys love. But it's time to move on and to go to the next level of Caffeine and Green. So I have now launched a Kickstarter, and it's going to be for the first Caffeine and Green food truck. I stand corrected. Sorry. The Caffeine and Green coffee truck. That's right. We're trying to raise about $10,000 right now through the Kickstarter, and you guys can head over to kickstarter.com, C&G coffee truck, or you can just go to the search bar and you can put in Caffeine and Green coffee truck. It'll pop up, and we are looking for any donations to get to our goal of $10,000 by Labor Day. That's right. We have about 20 days left of the campaign, so it's all steam engines ahead, or all engines ahead, I should say. I do apologize about that, guys. But yes, I mean, it's been less than 24 hours, and we're already at about $1,500. It's amazing. I literally get so excited when I get emotional, because it's like, oh damn, thank you. Like, you guys are so dope, and like, I just, thank you. Just thank you. All of you guys. I know I say it at nauseum, but like, yo, from the bottom of my heart. Woo. Sorry. Woo. But yeah, guys, if you can help, August 16th, the campaign launched. Today's the 17th. We have till Labor Day, which is September 6th, to reach that $10,000 goal. So guys, please, if you can, spread the word, share it, repost it, the Kickstarter, the video on the Caffeine and Green Instagram. Head on over to at caffeine_and_green. That's the Instagram. Or you can go to my personal page, which is ISSA what is it? It's a Gucci thing. Oh yeah, it's ISSA_Gucci_thang. THANG. So guys, I thank you for listening to this, and per usual, head on over to caffeineandgreenroasting.com to pick up all your coffee needs, the Issa blend, the victory lap, the morning sesh, and head there for any of your Caffeine and Green apparel, which you guys can cop. I mean, man, yes, thank you guys all so much. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Caffeine and Green is what it is. Spread the word. Mad love, y'all. All right. And if you guys haven't, head on over to Steel Mill Coffee today to go and visit all my homies over there. Of course, I'm talking about Anna, Giles, Joel, Shay, and of course, Riley. Guys, I'm roasting the coffee for Steel Mill Coffee up in Oceanside, California. And if you haven't been over there yet, you need to get in there today, because it is the only place right now where you can get my coffee on the cafe, get it from an espresso machine, and you get to see all my amazing friends, which I just love kicking it with them. The vibe is real. The people is hot. And, just feel me. Just head on into Oceanside today. Go visit my friends. I know they'd love to see you and get an amazing coffee. Steel Mill Coffee, Oceanside, California. Get it. All right. Thank you for listening, guys. I appreciate that today. What am I saying? I'm getting ahead of myself. Today's guest is DJ Brelje. He is a knife maker. He owns a knife company called Mae Knives. And he is one of the most badass looking dudes ever. He's a man of few words. He's quiet, but he has such an amazing story. He was a contestant on Forged in Fire on the History Channel, and we got to talk about that. We got to talk about the name of his company, Mae Knives, named after his daughter, and just all the badass stuff he gets to do. I mean, he is an intimidating guy, but he is so nice. He's so cool, and he's very well spoken. So without further ado, Maji, DJ Brelje. DJ Brelje. This your time to shine, homie. Let's go. Give me caffeine and green. It's your boy Connor. What's good? Good. Caffeine and green. And we're live. DJ Brelje. Welcome to Caffeine and Green, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers.
Cheers to the good life.
I like that, to the good life. Dude, so, I mean, I know you said you hadn't listened to the podcast yet, but generally I just get right into it, meaning like you are a knife maker for Mae Knives. That's the name of your company?
Yep.
Dude. I was lurking your Instagram, and that's the name of your daughter.
Yep, that's right.
How old's your daughter?
2.5.
Damn.
Yep.
Okay. And so were you already into making knives before she was born?
A little bit, but I didn't get serious about it until I knew I was having a baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn. So when, is it like that, I guess it would be paternal since you're a pops, that paternal instinct where it was like, yo, you're about to have a baby. You're like, damn, I got to do something more. Do something to, like, I guess in a lack of a better term, like provide or,
That's right.
or
Yeah.
get a little bit more serious about something.
Yeah.
Dude, that's dope. And like, why knives? Because it's not something that not everybody's into. And then it's so hard because you're like forging it, right?
Yeah, you got to want it, anytime you're working with metal. It's a hard material.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm not sure, why knives, how I really got into that, well, I think it's because of my friends.
Yeah.
Pushed me to get into that. I made jewelry and was selling that at flea markets. And I had made some knives, and I brought them to the flea market, and they sold.
Oh, wow.
And then I had a friend that knew a guy that was a knife maker, and I visited his studio, and he showed me how to grind a knife, and got to see his tools and his grinder. And
Wow.
that's when I got more interested in learning more about it and learning the science behind heat treating, and just another thing to learn about metal. And I think that, really got my interest of just learning something new. That was the next thing in metal.
Yeah.
I've worked with metal more than half my life.
Really? How old are
Pretty
you?
much. I'm 41.
Oh, wow. Dude, you look great.
Thanks.
Damn. Like, okay, so you're forging the metal. Like, one thing, I mean, again, I was telling you before the podcast, I know absolutely nothing about knives, but I'm a huge fan. But if it sounds stupid, it's okay to tell me it's stupid. Is it like doing like blacksmith type shit where you're like heating it up, banging it? Like, is that what it is?
That's how I do it. I like to forge the knives. You can grind them and do it that way, or you can forge them from, a big brick of steel.
Really?
It just takes a little more time.
How big do you think I'm assuming a brick of steel, it's like an actual brick, or is it?
It'll look like a brick, kind of, or you can get a rod, it could be different shapes. Sometimes I'll make the material. If you've heard of Damascus steel, where you make like a sandwich alternating two different types of steels or more types of steels. And
Whoa.
You might start out with like 10 layers of alternating the sheets. You make a little sandwich, and you forge weld those together, and then stretch that out, fold it, get that forge welded, and each time you fold it, you're doubling the layers. So you can go, 10 layers, start out with 10, then go 20, 40, 80, as many layers as you want to go. And then you can, when you flatten it out, you can pattern the steel and make it look like wood grain pattern or swirly looking shit, or twist it.
Really?
Yeah. And
dude,
yeah, you could spend like weeks or more like just making the material to make the knife. So I'm doing it all by hand. I don't use machines like a power hammer or a hydraulic press. I like just doing it old fashioned way. Just
dude.
with a hammer and an anvil.
Hammer and an anvil.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's so sick. That is so badass. Like, did you have like a, just like the medieval times where they have like the fucking like leather apron, and you're just over here like.
Sometimes it gets hot in my studio, so sometimes it's like 120 degrees when I'm forging. So sometimes it's just shorts, no shirt on. Just
no shirt on. You fucking man. You are a man.
If you're grinding, I'll wear like an apron or something.
Yeah, dude. Wow. That's super. Do you have to wear I'm assuming you have to wear like some eye protection, like some gnarly glasses, yeah?
Yeah, I wear like goggles or glasses. That's really important working with metal.
Now,
Protect your eyes.
since you're doing that with just a hammer and an anvil, like I'm assuming the sparks aren't like super crazy like they would be if you're like, had like a power drill or like,
Yeah, sometimes it'll fly off, and a little piece of scale will fly off and land on your ear and burn you. Sometimes you're hammering, you just gotta let it burn.
Does it leave a mark? I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
it's burned.
It's not like wood where it just like it's like metal. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah, you're gonna get burned. Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. That's so interesting. And like, so you found out you were having your daughter. You decided to get more serious. Like, how did you go about that? I mean, I own my own business as well. So it's like, you got a studio. So I'm assuming you had like to get like all the permitting and then like do all these things. But I mean, if you're like essentially welding, right? Like or blacksmithing.
Yeah.
Blacksmithing?
Yeah, bladesmithing.
Bladesmithing?
Mm-hmm.
So do you have to get certain types of you have to be in certain areas, like industrial areas or stuff like that because it's so hot and you're like using these metals and stuff like that?
I just do it at home.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, just have a detached garage that I work out of.
Dope.
It's small. It's all I need.
Dude.
Knives don't take up that much space.
Wow. And do you do, I'm assuming you could just like get like individual orders, stuff like that?
Yeah, a lot of it like custom orders. Some people want something. Sometimes if I don't have any orders, I'll just work on something for fun.
Mm-hmm.
Something more sculptural on the handle or something. Or I like working on stuff that just takes a ridiculous amount of time. Sometimes.
So you're patient.
Sometimes I just want to get it done to get that feeling of self-accomplishment. You know? But it is every knife I make, I think of something I could have done better on that knife, and just say, okay, I'll do it on the next one. But
so you're your own worst critic.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah. But I mean, that's going to make you better. Yeah. So that's awesome. Never satisfied with I mean, I looked at your knives, and so I say this with like the utmost respect. You're not about mediocrity. Sounds like you want to push the envelope and make yourself better. I love that.
Thank you.
The one thing that also like I thought was like how you just touched on it was the sculpture of the handle, if you will. I was watching your story after I'd already hit you up to be on the show, and you just took the blade and just like popped it right in there. And I was like, is that really all it is? Is that like in my head? I was like, is that really all it is? Like, I mean, do you have to put like Gorilla Glue, or do you have certain ways that it holds it in there to make it more of a solid structure?
Yeah, sometimes I'll use epoxy glue, or the tang will stick out past the handle, and I'll ball peen, like hammer it.
The what will stick out?
The tang of the knife will stick out past the handle. And
okay.
I'll peen it over like a rivet around the handle, and that will hold it onto the blade.
Okay. Yeah. Dude. And now, like, I'm getting so excited. So, when you do this, have you had like, I'm assuming again, I should stop assuming. Do you do most of your business through like a website, or is it all through Instagram?
Yeah, through Instagram, word of mouth, flea markets, different pop-ups, art walks.
Oh, sick.
I've sold knives here, Steel Mill.
Here at Steel Mill?
Yeah, they did like a pop-up with like clothes and cameras.
Dude, we need to do that again. Like I want to see sick. That. That would be dope. So have you like? Cause I had a guy. His name is Dominic Maybill, and he does like these custom skateboards. He's down in San Diego, I think like National City or something like that. But cool. He has boards like being shipped out all over the world because of the way he designs them. Like, have you had any international orders that people have reached out and be like, yo, I'm in Japan, like, you'll send me a knife or something like that?
Yeah, I forget. Where did I send one to? Australia, I think. Yeah.
Damn, for real?
Sometimes people will hit me up from somewhere else, yeah.
And they get it, they take a photo, send it to you or something like that?
Sometimes it's cool when they do, and they show that it's already being put to use, like right after they get it. I really like seeing that,
Fuck yeah.
I like making chef knives too. That's like a pretty big honor, to make a chef knife, because they use a knife more than anybody, you know,
Yeah.
like, you know, maybe 8 hours a day or something. You know, I don't, I use a knife a few times a day, maybe, sometimes not at all, you know, if they're using it all day long, every day. So that's a big honor.
That's a
to do
huge
that.
honor.
Yeah.
And that mean I didn't even know that because when I see your stuff, it's more like you have some creative ones where like there's like a fat blade or like it's very just out of the box. And that's what I'm about. Like I love seeing shit that's out of the box. Like
Thanks.
like the way you're seeing the world is definitely different than the way I see the world. But I think that's so fucking rad. But to know that you do chef's knives, I mean, when you do that, I mean, you're entering a world of like, you know, Japanese, like what is it, Ginsu knives and shit like that, like those super like fine, like a fine blade
blades,
and
yeah.
long and 12 inches, maybe 8, and then you have these like very pristine handles. I mean, do you do the same? Yes, yeah.
Yeah, try to. You know, I try and experiment, and I mean, the first couple years of starting my business was just learning. You know, every knife I made, I was learning from it. You know, so I would try just all kinds of knives I didn't even know about. You know, I'm like, what is this? You know, what is this used for? And I'm not a cook, so you know, I burn waffles. You know, so I had to like rely on chefs, you know, and talk to them and say, hey, what do you use? You know, because I have no idea. So
Do you like, would you maybe like buy a bunch of different knives that are like chef's knives and then look at them and like study them and be like, and like maybe because you said you can like layer them, right?
Yeah.
And because I'm assuming they have to be pretty thin, right?
yeah,
Down to like a fine point, and then you have to like be able to like just like slice a tomato. Like you're not trying to like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Depending on what it's used for too, you know, made a skinning blade for like a hunter, you know, to like cut up a pig or elk or something.
Yeah.
And it worked out good for him. He actually like ordered another blade for like a boning knife for cutting meat off a bone, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all, you know, it's cool just, you know, trying making different knives and learning more about it as I go. But a lot of it's trial and error, you know. I'll make something and then test it on something, you know, like cut something up, see how it works, you know. I like when people give me feedback on how the knife's working, you know. I ask them how it's working out, you know. So yeah, I haven't had any knives returned yet, so that's good.
Have you ever like spent, you know, weeks on like making a blade, and then all of a sudden you go to test it out and it's like bing, and it like breaks and you're like shit, you know, just like
I've tested knives and had them chip before, yeah, like on cutting. Like I had this old like horse head I cut up, and the blade hit the teeth, and teeth are really hard, and it chipped on that blade because it was too hard. When you harden a blade, you make it more have a better edge retention, so it'll hold an edge longer. But if you drop it, it could break. So you might want to like temper it more. A lot of like Japanese blades are left super hard so they can retain that edge. But if you drop it, it's gonna break or chip.
Interesting.
One of my friends like brought me some Japanese knives that like I repaired for them. They chipped, like I think it hit like a avocado seed or something hard, and it just chipped. So I was able to like grind it down and make it usable again.
Like reform it.
Yeah. Grind it down, put another edge on it.
Dude, how long have you been doing? I mean, like I know you said you got serious about your business in like the last 2.5 years. How long before that were you doing this?
Just kind of like on it, not very often, on and off. Like when I was doing it, I didn't really know the science behind it, like the heat treating. I like to do like every step of the process. I didn't know what I was doing back then, you know, so it took, you know, a lot of research to find out, you know, the right way to do things.
Yeah.
But it was kind of on and off. I think like one of my cousins like asked me to make a knife like 17 years ago, and I was like I don't know how to make a knife, you know. I just kind of made something, you know. But
yeah. But so you've been essentially like maybe like a welder or just a blacksmith of
Yeah,
other sorts?
I've been working with metal since I was like 9 years old. Or like my uncle was a independent lobster fisherman, and I worked for him when I was a kid repairing lobster traps. And then when I was like older, I'd start building lobster traps, and that was the first experience working with metal. And I just wanted to learn more about the material. I wanted to learn how to weld, so I bought a welder. I worked on cars, chopped like a roof on a old '54 Chevy.
Sick.
To just learn how to weld, and I'd get jobs, welding jobs, any metal working job I could find. I'd get, learn what I could learn, work there a year, maybe move on to another company that did something different, and just suck up all the knowledge from all the people I worked with. So that's all I've been doing is just working with metal. When I, lose a job or get laid off, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go work with metal.
Damn, it's such a unique trade to have. I mean, you can always somewhat find some jobs to get that shit done.
Mm-hmm.
Was there one thing for me that I've talked about a lot on the podcast is about I'm a big proponent of mentors. I mean, you said you've met a lot of people along the way, and you're sucking up the knowledge. I mean, was there anybody in particular that was like the biggest influence on you as a mentor, or like maybe like a mentor that taught you how to like do the knives thing?
The knives,
Self-taught.
pretty much, yeah. I mean, I did a lot of research. I got, get books on it. Just do a lot of online research.
Mm-hmm.
Like I made like Damascus steel before I even made knives. I was using it for jewelry. So like that, I was going to school at San Diego State, and a friend showed me like a piece of Damascus, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And she's like, this is Damascus. And I just wanted to learn how to make it. And I grabbed some pieces of metal and tried to stick them together, and I can't tell you how many times I failed at it. Yeah. But I do more research, and when I got it to work, and that was like the best feeling. Sick. So yeah, I really like making Damascus.
Dope.
Yeah.
Was there
but mentors, yeah, it's every job I've had, there's mentors, bosses, that I've learned from, coworkers. Everybody brings something to the table that you can learn from, from their experiences too.
That's amazing. I love that. Because you're self-taught at the same time with the knives thing, but I mean, I've had coffee roasters, a few other coffee people, not too many, but like a lot of people that I have never had, like that I've had on the show so far, I've never really had mentors. Very slim few, but you yourself talking about like, everybody brings something to the table, and just absorbing all these things, especially in such a trade. I mean, like that's one thing with coffee, especially, it's a trade. Like there's not, there's definitely been a surge in coffee roasters for sure, but they all slowly start to fall off, and they don't stick with the trade, if you will, or the craft. So I think that's friggin' awesome that you have that outlook. Did somebody teach that to you, or was it just always like I learned a lot of that from that person, and when you moved on to your next job, you were like, same thing? Or was it somebody was like, hey, pay attention to what people can show you because you can learn from everyone?
Oh yeah, definitely.
That one, the second one?
Yeah, I definitely, there's a lot of genuine people out there that you can learn from, but yeah, it's nice to remember what people taught you, and what they said, yeah.
Did you grow up here in San Diego?
Yeah, Pacific Beach.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I moved up to Oceanside like 8 years ago.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Were you living in PB the whole time until you moved here? Or you just like moved around San Diego?
All around San Diego. I lived in like a warehouse for like a couple of years.
Oh, damn.
I was like making sculpture, and it's like making too much noise, and so I just moved to a non-residential area. Lived in a warehouse.
That's dope. Dude, you're just a man of many stories. That's super rad. So you're 41, so I'm 35, so 7 years. So you're born in like 78?
79.
79?
Mm-hmm.
What was it like growing up in PV in 79?
Some crazy times.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, you can drink on the beach, and it was crazy. It's party town.
Party town.
Yeah.
Dude, I couldn't imagine. I mean, it was party town when I came down to visit here when I was like 19. Like, so I can't imagine it being back in the day and like growing up there. I mean, it probably was like pretty, I guess, liberating. You could just do whatever the fuck you want. I mean, did you surf, skate?
Yeah, surfed a lot.
Surfed a lot?
Yeah.
Dude. So do you still surf?
I do. A lot of times I forget that I surf, but when I do go out, I just, ask myself, why don't I do this all the time? It's a lot of fun.
You still shred, huh?
I'm all right. I broke my shoulder and my elbow recently, so I haven't been going as much. And last time I went out, I was kind of worried about my arm the whole time. I caught a wave, and I'm like, all right, I'm good. So I just went in. So the whole time I was just like, worried about my arm, but it's a lot better now. So looking forward to like going out this summer and teaching my daughter how to surf.
Yes. Yes. How did you break your arm and your shoulder?
I was skateboarding with my daughter.
No.
Yeah. A little pebble flew. She landed on me.
She landed on you?
Yeah, I turned my body and just took it in the shoulder. And, we've done that. That's happened before. This time was a little too hard.
Ooh.
A little too fast.
Damn, were you like bombing a hill or just going down the street?
Just down a little hill.
Oh, no.
A little too fast.
Dude.
Yeah, luckily she was okay.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Lucky. True pops right there, man. Just save the kid. That's dope. So, you made it. You're about to have the daughter. You're getting serious about it. Was there a point maybe within that like 9-month window when you were like, oh fuck, like what am I gonna do? Like, yeah, I'm doing this, but then it's like, is this really gonna take off? Kind of thing. Were you stressed as like a new potential business owner, and like, what was going through your mind because if you're going to get serious about something and you're doing it now, mm-hmm. I'm assuming like there's a lot of mental turmoil that you were going through in your head, or maybe you're just like, you look as cool as a cucumber right now. I don't look like you're stressing. So
no, definitely, definitely. I mean, when you turn something into money, it changes things, something, I was learning and having fun doing, and turning that into to make money changes things a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I had a, baby on the way. I had to try and do something more, like maybe, I was thinking like, yeah, it'd be cool to like make some money. Maybe I can, like, she can afford a car before I die or something. I have some money saved up for her or something. Maybe get her a car or something. And pack of bubble gum.
Pack of bubble gum.
But yeah, I don't know. I've seen like a lot of knife makers, like a lot of them like use their name for their knives. I named it after her. She's the best thing that ever happened to me. I actually, when she was born, I got to use one of my knives that I forged to cut her umbilical cord. So I got that knife. I'm saving it for her when she can have a knife. And
wow.
Still got the blood on it.
What?
Yeah.
That is so badass.
It's pretty cool.
Did you plan that?
No, I just was telling the doctor that I made knives, and she said how symbolic it would be if I used one of my knives to cut the umbilical cord. And she was a really cool doctor. She like delivered babies on Navajo Nation, and super cool lady. And she's like, do you want to deliver the baby? I was like, fuck yeah, I want to deliver the baby. So I got to deliver my daughter and cut the umbilical cord. It was like definitely the best experience of my life. It's crazy high. And
wow.
Yeah, and the logo on my knife is millipede.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's when my baby's mama was going into labor, she was actually, sometimes I'll etch art on my blades, and she drew a millipede on one of the knives, and she was going to labor. She's like, I'm gonna have to finish this some other time, and then had the baby the next day, and so that just ended up being my logo for my knives. And I was like doing some research, like when you cut the umbilical cord, you're taking the baby off its supply, and you're giving it oxygen, living off that placenta, and you're giving it oxygen. And I did research on the millipede, and they're like one of the first creatures to breathe oxygen.
Ever?
Yeah.
That's
fossils.
for real?
Yeah, I guess they found that out through fossils or something. I was like,
fucking A.
Yeah.
That's pretty badass, dude. Wow. So like it all happens for a reason, man, and there's no mistakes. Like,
It's not.
I mean, I don't know what you believe, but like one thing I definitely believe in, is just like, it's age old. It's like everything happens for a reason. Like there's the exact moment, like right now, right here, what we're doing is exactly how it was supposed to happen. You could have said no, and it would have been somebody else. But you said yes, and it's like that led us to right here, and everything has fallen into place like that. And I mean, it's obviously based on your decisions. I would definitely think, but I fucking think that's so badass that we're talking about this right now. The one thing that comes into my mind, I don't have any children, but the one thing that I've always wanted to ask somebody, since we're talking about this, is like people are like, as soon as I saw my baby like coming out, it was like it just changed. But my always thing was like, was there a difference between seeing the baby coming out and then getting to like, specifically since you got to cut the umbilical cord with your knife, was there a difference when you got to like hold her?
Yeah, I like when I pulled her out of the vagina, and she felt like a giant frog, like because they're like really flexible to be able to come out, and yeah, it was just I've done a lot of drugs and stuff, but it was the best feeling I've ever had in my life. I can see why people have like tons of kids.
True that. Yeah, that's badass. So when how often do you get to see your daughter?
Usually a Wednesday through Saturday.
Dope.
So it's like 50-50.
That's really awesome. Do you get does she know about like what you're doing? Do you like show her or explain it to her, be like, hey, this is what daddy does?
Yeah. I take her in the garage, and she plays with the hammers, and
sick.
Yeah.
Damn.
That'd be cool if she gets into it, whatever she's gets into, I'll support.
Dude, what are you gonna like? I mean, do you still do any of the lobster fishing or anything like that?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
I
No.
stopped doing that about a decade ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you did it for a while then?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Damn. That fisherman life. I mean, was there any crazy? I mean, do you go out on like? Because I see some guys who come in here, they like, I'm on a bunch of them are fishermen, and then they go back out and they're gone for 18 days or whatever, and they come back. Were you like
I
that?
didn't do that.
You didn't do that,
too
no?
often. Nah, every once in a while I'd take a smaller trip where it was like a few days or something, but it was mainly come home every day.
Oh wow.
Which was nice. Yeah.
Anything ever crazy happen out on the water? Because it's like, dude, you're out in the fucking open water.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like out in the water, you turn around 360 degrees and you don't see land. But it's a different world out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you pull up weird stuff in the traps sometimes.
Really? What's the weirdest thing you ever pulled up?
I mean, a lot of octopus. Those things are like aliens.
Dude.
Come out.
Big ones?
Yeah, big ones. Some like this corner rat, this bird that like flies down. Sometimes they'll like dive into the water to get fish, and they'll swim into a trap and get caught in there. And
whoa.
Yeah.
Dude, what's an octopus like though?
People like other fishermen have found like human bones inside traps and stuff.
Stop it. Dude, that's so heavy. Out in the middle. How far do you usually go off the coast?
We would just go most of the time it was just a few miles out there where you could see land,
Oh, okay.
Even. But yeah, it was just like a few times like I'd went to a Bank of Cortez and San Clemente Island.
Okay. Damn. You ever see any like dolphins swimming next to your boat or like sharks or anything like that?
A lot of like fish when you're going out really early, and it's like you got that phosphorescence lighting where the fish are just like choo choo, and you could see
Yeah.
that light coming off of them. It's just pretty cool.
Damn. That's pretty epic, man. I mean, it sounds like you've lived a life of like solitude. That's what it seems like. Because, like, I mean, you go out in the water, it's very, it's probably you and what, a couple other people, maybe?
That one other guy.
Yeah, like one other guy.
Yeah.
And then, you're working in your studio, you're doing your thing. It's like, you're very, like, chill with being, sounds like being alone a lot more.
Yeah, I can do that for a while.
Yeah?
I'm good. Yeah, I'll talk to a friend that I hadn't talked to in years, and I'm good for a couple more years. But no, there's a time when you feel a little crazy, and you're like, I need talk to some people.
Yeah.
It's good. It's always inspiring when you do. When someone stops by or you hang out with someone, find out what they're doing. It's just it's always inspirational for me when I do talk to people.
Aside from your daughter, what else drives you? Like what inspires you to do what you do?
I think just getting better at what I'm doing, and just the more I learn, the better I do. I think that really inspires me. Making something I'm proud of.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like I'm still trying to figure out what type of knife to focus on. A lot of knife makers will just make chef knives or just make hunting knives or pocket knives. So I'm kind of all over the place. I make whatever somebody wants me to make. I made a pair of scissors, but or an axe or something. But it's a lot more efficient if you focus on one thing.
Like find your niche, find your lane, and then just go in that lane.
Yeah, it's just more efficient. You can do more production, but that kind of gets old for me pretty quick. Like when you're doing factory work.
Mm-hmm.
I like making my knives one of a kind. Custom knives are fun to do, yeah. Somebody wants a knife, I'll try it. One of my friends wanted like a brisket knife, and I'm like, what the fuck's a brisket knife? I have to do some research, and okay, and now that's how it needs to be, so I'll make it.
So, because that is a big comparison. So I'm just imagining like with a chef's knife, it's very thin, it's very like long, pristine. But then when you're having like a brisket knife, I'm imagining something more with like a jagged teeth. Yeah.
This one didn't have jagged teeth, but yeah, it ended up being like pretty thin too. Yeah, it was just like a longer knife because they're cutting up big pieces of meat with it. Yeah.
One thing I would definitely want to get into, but like that, just to finish that, is like, so if you're not making just a straight blade and you have to make something more rigid with those jagged teeth, how do you research that? Like, just go online and be like, how to make this? There's like YouTube University?
I haven't even made a knife like that, like with serrated edge.
Serrated.
Yeah, like a lot of it's done when they're doing it by hand. They'll use files and hand file it,
Wow. Really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's like machines that can do it too. A lot of knives are made by machines. They're stamped out. Some knife makers, you just like you can get material like the thickness of what the blade's gonna be and have it, water jet cut or laser cut to that shape, and you just grind it, and then you send it to a heat treater. They heat treat it. They send it back to you. You grind it, put a handle on it. It's done.
A heat treater? So this is for somebody who
someone
warms up the metal?
They'll heat treat it, which is a process where they'll quench the knife in oil. They'll heat it up to a temperature and quench it in oil to harden the blade, and then that makes it super hard, but it's also brittle, so they have to temper it, and they'll put it in an oven for a couple hours and kind of lower the hardness, so if you drop it, it's not going to break, type of thing.
Interesting.
And there's like a lot of science behind that. Like certain knives, might want like a little harder, like a chef knife, maybe like a camping knife, not so hard. So if you drop it on a rock or something, the tip doesn't break off.
Interesting.
But I like doing like everything from start to finish. I don't like, I cut it out, or sometimes I'll just forge it to shape. I don't cut out a shape. I just forge it to that shape. Sometimes if I'll have like a smaller piece of material, like a flat bar, I could cut partial shape, and then forge the rest.
Interesting.
But yeah, there's like a lot of ways of going about making it.
Have you like delved into like samurai sword makers? Like you know what I mean? Like
I haven't. I did make a sword just to make one. I made like this Viking sword.
Did you really?
Yeah, because my like ancestors are from Norway, so like I gotta make one of those. So
wow,
that was fun to just make, and then chop pumpkins or whatever, cans or whatever.
Is it hella thick?
It's heavy, and yeah, it's a wide, pretty long blade,
Dude, like, did you put? So I'm assuming you said Norway.
Yeah.
Do you guys have like a family crest that you could like put on the sword?
I like engraved the last name or the family name on it.
Did you show your family?
Yeah.
Were they hyped?
Yeah.
Dude, sick. He's just like, when Halloween comes, you're like, oh. Dude, or did you like throw one up? Can you like slice it?
I've like tried cutting, like I'll use acetone a lot to clean the blades, and when the can runs out, I usually chop it with the sword, and I've had it like cut like almost like completely through the can, but like I'll fill it with water and I'll cut it, and then the can will fly. So like the next time I do it, I'm gonna like clamp it in a vise so it's got like nowhere to go, and try chopping it again.
Dude, fuck yeah, that is sick.
Yeah, there's like a lot to just like swordsmanship, just kind of like if you hold the blade like a little bit at the wrong angle, it's not gonna cut as good as if it's perfectly straight
on. So do you have to like use two hands, or is it one? Is it a one-hander?
This one's more of a one-hander.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long do you think the blade is from like the handle? I
think it's like almost 30 inches or something.
30 inches?
It's a pretty long blade, yeah.
How thick?
It might be like about like maybe 3/16 at the ricasso, and then it just tapers to the point.
Whoa.
And it's like double-edged, so you can cut on both sides of it.
Oh yeah. Damn, that's pretty badass. Do you have like a Viking helmet or something? That'd be pretty sick too.
I should get one. Yeah. Chainmail mesh or something.
Yes.
They have like a Viking festival over in like Vista or something. It'd be sick to bring there or something.
Do they really? Yeah. Dude, you should definitely do. Fuck yeah, take that thing and be like, yeah, where'd you get this? Like, dude, I fucking made it. Really? Yeah, dude, this is what I do. Excuse me. So one thing what we were talking about before the podcast, you said that you were on a show called Forged in, what was it?
Forged in Fire.
Forged in Fire on the History Channel.
Yeah.
How did that come about? Like, did you know about it and you signed up, or did somebody reach out to you, or?
One of my friends, I was making jewelry, and I was making a wedding band for him, and he's like, you should go on Forged in Fire, and he like submitted me to the show, and I wasn't even like serious about knives back then, but then the more I got into like, he's like, you got a baby on the way, like get it, get on that show, and so I got more serious about knives, and once I was like more confident in what I knew, I ended up submitting back to them and getting onto the show.
Did you have to do like a video? I'm assuming it's like videos because they have to see what you're doing, right?
Yeah, it's like a Skype.
Oh, so did they do like
Skype
an interview where like you're in your studio?
Yeah,
and you're
just
like,
at home showing them knives I made, and
Whoa.
Yeah.
So how long was the process between that, like from the time you submitted to the time they reached out to you to get on the show?
It was kind of a long process. Yeah, it took
really?
a while. Yeah.
what what did you think when they hit you back? They were like, "Hey, you're going to be on the show."
I was pretty excited.
You were stoked?
Yeah. It's pretty crazy,
Where is it? Where was it filmed at?
And Connecticut, I think. Yeah.
Connecticut.
Yeah.
Wow. So they flew you out, and then I'm assuming it's like a weekly show, but they film it probably what, like 3-4 days, something like that.
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
Oh, how long they filmed?
Yeah. So like they
like,
fly you out to Connecticut.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's like a process of elimination show, right? There's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a certain number of contestants.
Yeah, 4 people.
4 people?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. So it's not like a weekly show. It's like once you do it, you do it in like a day, right? Or maybe a couple
it's
weeks?
I think it took like 2 days.
2 days?
Yeah.
How far did you make it? Did you win?
I didn't win.
You didn't win?
No.
Did you come in last?
No, I didn't come in last.
That's all that matters. So you fly to Connecticut. What do? They pick you up and they're like, "Hey, we're going straight to it," or do they kind of like butter you up and like, "Hey, here's some food. Here's like, you got this like whole catered thing that's going on," because it's History Channel.
It was like during COVID, so yeah, you have like a trailer and stuff that you go in.
Oh, you did this recently, with COVID, right? So 29.
Yeah.
Wait, fuck.
Yeah, it was like in
2020.
Yeah, it was like in October, I think.
Oh, last year?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty recent.
Yeah,
Yeah, like, damn. Okay. Okay, so that makes it even gnarlier. Like you did this during COVID. So that was going to be another question. I mean, we can get to that later, but okay, so you get your own trailer. So you're by yourself, you're chilling. Did they have like
It was cold as shit over there, It's like
in October,
rainy.
yeah.
I'd never it's just weird just driving over there, and like telling it, like I see some deer on the side of the road, and just like, "Hey, there's deer," and the driver's like, yep, we got them here,
You're like, "Yeah, dude, they don't have that shit in California, like, or San Diego."
Yeah.
At least in PV.
Yeah.
Or Oceanside. But so walk me through the process. Like, you get there, did you like meet the other welders, or like did you guys have to do separate stuff?
They keep you like separated from everybody. You don't really meet anybody till you're like on the show, basically.
Damn. So they gave you like a private studio with just all the fixings, like all the tools you would need.
No, they give you they let you bring like a few, like 3 tools that you want to bring from home, and just like in a little trailer until they call you out, and then you have like a couple hours to forge whatever they tell you you're gonna make. So you have no idea what you're gonna make, which is kind of like, oh, I wonder what I'm gonna make. You have no clue. They're just like, surprise, this is what you're gonna make. Out of this material, I had to make a meat cleaver out of meat hooks. So they had
meat cleaver out of meat hooks.
Yeah, so you had meat hooks that you had to grab and cut up and forge weld together. And it's funny. Like they asked, like before the show started, they're like, asked the contestants, who has anyone here like forged a cleaver? And a couple of us raised their hands. I had made one before, and they're like, okay, you guys are cool. The other guys are screwed. Yeah.
That's what they said?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So welding it together, again, this is completely just being stupid. The thing that I would think is like you have to make it a meat hook, so you have to melt down the metal.
Yeah, like you have to, like there's different ways to go about it. One guy, I think he'll cut it up into little pieces and he put it in like a tube canister and with powder and tried to forge weld it together that way. I just grabbed the hooks and cut them up into, I think I had like 5 pieces. I just like used the handles of them, but you had to I just flattened them out and then I stacked them up. You have to guess like how much material you need to make this cleaver to like stretch it out the width ways and the length ways.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all kind of like a guess, just from your experience, how much material, and you want more than enough and not less. So you stick those together, like tack them together once they're like flattened out, and then forge weld them together, and then stretch it out and forge a shape and everything.
Damn. That's very interesting. So is that the only thing you had to make, or did you like you make it and you move on to like your final piece or something?
You make the cleaver, and you have like 2 hours to do it, and then after that you put a handle on it, and then after that they test it. They test them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They like eliminate someone like after the forging process. They like eliminated a guy, and I was like confident the whole time. Like I thought, it was crazy. You had like camera people like right up in your face and
The whole time.
yeah, safety kind of goes out the window. I was kind of like holding hot steel the whole time because I didn't want to like waste any time letting it cool down. So you're like watching the seconds count down, how much time you have.
So there's like some pressure.
Oh yeah, it's crazy stressful.
Damn.
Yeah, it's like I burnt the shit out of my hands like on the show.
It's worth it though, right? I mean, like, 'cause
yeah.
I'm assuming that it's one of these shows.
Yeah,
So
you could win like 10 grand. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you make it to the testing?
Yeah, I made it to the testing.
Oh, dude.
They tested it on like chopped some big ass bones, like went down like from a small bone up to a big bone. It looked like a dinosaur bone or something, Damn. But it was cool. It handled it, like didn't chip or anything, and chopped this like big ass bone in half, and then they tested on vegetables, and that's kind of where I came up a little short. It got caught up. A potato got caught up on the blade, so I hit like part of the blade that like might have not have been as sharp as the other part of it, so it got stuck up, and that's what sent me home right there.
Dude,
so like when I got home, I like made a cleaver and tested it out.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. I came in last. The only competition that I think I ever entered as a coffee roaster, and I was so mad at myself.
Yeah.
As soon as I went home,
Yeah.
I like went and I grabbed that coffee and I tasted it again, and then I tasted it. I went back at the shop, and then I think I might have roasted some again. That was after that. I mean, it definitely motivated me to be better.
Yeah.
Because this is years ago now, but I can totally understand that, because it's like when you lose on something that you're like, this, it didn't taste this way, or I mean, it didn't, I made it this way or I did it this way, but it's like, for me, it was like, I tasted this coffee. It didn't taste the way it tasted when I was there.
Huh.
So I was like, what the fuck happened? And then it was like, is it, like the science of it, right? You can get into it. It's like, maybe the water wasn't there. Maybe the brew method wasn't there. Something along the lines, it just fell apart.
Yeah, in hindsight, you think of all these things that, you could have done differently or you should have done, But when you're pressured for, like, time and everything, and there's so many variables in the competition and whatnot. But, yeah, I mean, I was happy to get the opportunity, I'd do it again if they had me back on,
Do they, when you do those shows, do they reach back out to you, like, hey, you want to come back on, or do you like just?
They could. I think people have been on the show again, so that'd be something.
Dude, definitely reach out.
Yeah.
I mean, you're only getting better, right? I mean,
Right.
This was last year in October, so it's not even been a year yet. But I'm assuming that if you're always working on something, do you do anything else besides doing knives?
Not now. Now I'm just trying to focus on just knives. But I also, I work part-time making like doors. Steel doors, yeah.
Damn. What? So how do you make a steel door? It's like,
It's all fabricated.
Where would you, like, is this for like industrial areas and stuff like that?
Homes usually.
Homes?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. So you're making like those big ass doors that people are making, like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like pivot doors. And
how did you get into that? You just another thing that just like, I'm just going to do this.
Yeah, basically, yeah, just kind of, actually through a guy that I used to work with, got me into it.
Dope.
That, I worked with him at another job, and he left and went there, and then he told me about doing that. So
is that, when you is it a steel door or is it that like that rustic look where it kind of like it's like a metal? You know what I mean? There's like sculptures and architecture that like it looks like that brown. I'm colorblind to shit, so maybe it's not brown, but like a brownish reddish color. You know?
It's like a lot of them are powder coated, you know, like a color, like to protect it from like rust and all that.
Okay. Yeah. Damn, I'm just not. None of this is in my wheelhouse, so it's like, I know it just sounds dumb when I'm asking questions sometimes.
No, that's cool.
So you come back from Forged in Fire. That's what it's called. And then you make a cleaver. Were you able to sell that cleaver? Was anybody like, yo, this is dope. Like, I really want this.
From the show?
Yeah, or that after you came back, you made one, right?
Oh,
you said,
yeah.
Were you able to sell that?
Yeah, I sold it. Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Good. Dude, I mean, I have to say, I feel like it takes a special kind of individual to sit there and just be meticulous to do these things. I mean, is it from what I've seen metal, when you heating it up and you're a blacksmith, a bladesmith, it's super, what is it, yellow, orange, or reddish?
It changes colors, gets like white.
Yeah. And you're able to just...
Yeah, that's when you can manipulate it. Yeah, like that's how if you want to work with it like it's clay, you got to get it that hot.
Now, do you have special prongs or something like that help you do that?
Yeah, like to hold on to the steel. Yeah, that's like a really challenging part of blacksmithing, is just having a good pair of tongs that can hold a weird shape that you're trying to hold as you hammer with your other hand. A lot of times you're dropping hot steel like on the ground, and then you got to find another tong to be able to pick it up off the ground. You know, if it touches an extension cord or something, it's gone.
Done.
You know, it goes right through anything. So
that was what I was going to ask you next.
Picked up, you know.
Yeah, that's how hot is that metal? Like, how hot do you have to get it to be like that manipulated?
It's like 2,100 degrees. Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise. Oh my God. Okay. So, I mean, you said you were doing like sculptures and other things. Like, what other things have you done like in terms of metal like that? Like, what kind of sculptures, I should say?
Sculpture. I've done like bronze sculpture. I did public art for a little bit. I have one of my better accomplishments as an artist. I sold a sculpture. It's at Scripps Memorial Hospital in La Jolla. It's like a seahorse, like about as tall as me. But,
really?
Yeah.
Dude.
But I went to San Diego State, and they had a foundry there, and I used to volunteer.
A foundry?
A foundry, like for casting metals. And
that's what that's called.
Yeah, they cast aluminum or bronze. We have a big crucible. You put just fill it with bronze or aluminum, and then melt it, and then pour it into a mold that you have made. A lot of the sculpture is sculpted out of wax first. The way I would do it was a lost wax method, which a lot of jewelers use that method too. But I'd make a sculpture out of wax and then create a mold around that wax, then melt the wax out, and then pour the bronze into that shell, and then break the shell off, and then you have your sculpture. Sometimes if it's a large sculpture, you have to cut it and do it in pieces, and then weld those pieces together after they're poured.
Whoa.
So the seahorse I did was kind of big, so it was I think I cut it in 5 or 6 pieces and poured them and then welded it.
So when you weld it, I'm assuming the tricky part, because when you weld things, there's that the lines of where things are, right? Like you're pushing it together and stuff like that. I mean, is there a trickiness with the sculpture to
blend it?
Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
Yeah, you could after you weld it, you can just grind it smooth, and there's different grinding discs or burrs that you can cut, or if the sculpture has a texture that you're trying to match, take that little burr and scratch into it, and to kind of transition that weld into it not disappearing, or maybe you want to keep the weld if it doesn't bother you.
Yeah.
Some some of the sculptures I made were just welded sculpture, where I'll just make it out of just welding rod. You know, I'd make like a hand or something, or a face, or like
Dude.
or just use like a torch, and you can just like cut away at steel and shape it into something. You know, yeah, there's just like a lot of ways to go about it. Just I used to like going to like a junkyard in Chula Vista, leaf sales, and it was always inspiring to just see all this random shit everywhere in the yard. I'd just photograph it because I just thought it was looked so cool, this old machinery and stuff. And
Yeah.
I'd grab a bunch of parts and like, you know, start sticking pieces together and make things out of just found objects, which is a lot of fun. You know.
Dude, you have such an interesting perspective. Like you're an artist, but you're an artist that I've never encountered before. Like my pops, I always talk about my dad. He's an artist. He's a
Nice.
painter.
Oh, nice.
He does like canvases, like big canvases, and he can paint. I no smoke here. Like he can paint as good as like Michelangelo type shit.
Oh, wow. Sick.
It's pretty incredible. He's definitely an odd individual and a weird guy, but he won't let you see his paintings. Like I've had to go into his room before to like see it.
Oh, wow.
He went to the Florence Academy of Art like in his mid 60s or late 60s, and he came back. He lived in Italy for like 2 or 3 months, and he came back and he showed me just some of the canvases. And the only reason I got to see him is because I was at the house when they arrived from when they got shipped back from Italy. And he's like, "Do you want to see something?" I was like, "Oh my God, you're gonna show me your fucking canvases right now?" And he did, and I was like, just so taken back. And again, like the way we're talking right now, I was able to see, because like the art, I feel like, you know, whether it's, you know, sculptures or metal or just your stroke of your hand, I really feel that is how somebody sees the world. You know, that's how they're interpreting their surroundings or what they are like able to take from their brain and put it onto something. So I was able to like see that from my dad's aspect. But when I hear you talking about this stuff, it's like you would photograph photos in a junkyard just to grab a couple things to like make this intricate process of building a sculpture, like breaking it into pieces and doing these things. It's like, wow, like it's another avenue that I would never think, or just like, why, you know, why do that? Why would you do this? But it's like, it doesn't matter why I think you want to do it. It's just the fact that that's how you see it. And you found, in a sense, like you found beauty in like I don't even know how to say it. Like a je ne sais quoi. Like it's
Junk.
Yeah, you found beauty in junk to make it your own and create something that is so unique. That is really cool.
Thanks.
I love how you're describing it. You're just like, go shoot photos, and then you just like can melt these parts down, and then like, one thing for me when I'm coffee roasting or if I'm like editing or anything like that, I find things that like motivate me or inspire me and like how I'm going to create it. So when you are looking at like these pieces of junk, like, or just like a scrapyard, do you already have an idea in your head? Like, oh, you know, this would be dope to like make this idea that I'm thinking about. Or do you wait to get the items and then you look at them and you're like, no, this is what I'm going to do now?
Yeah, it could go both ways.
Both ways?
You know? Yeah. Usually I don't have the idea first, you know. Maybe I'll just start with an object and just keep it going.
Yeah.
Just keep the object moving, I guess, you know. Yeah, it's rare where like I'll have the idea first, you know, for like art wise.
Mm-hmm. Do you
making knives, it's good to have the idea of what you're gonna make, you know, if it's gonna be a chef knife or not.
Yeah. That for sure.
But art, yeah, it's, you know, sometimes, yeah, it's just as I go.
Do you, what's your process? Like when you're doing it, do you put on music? Do you have like a routine that you go through to get you in like that zone of like a flow state, or like something that gets you hyped? You're like, I'm gonna put on some fucking whatever music you're bumping, or like maybe like an NPR. I don't know. Like It could be anything. Do you have something that you do every time to get you in that flow state?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's. I mean, yeah. Sometimes, music's inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
Having if I need to forge Damascus, you gotta really want that when you're hammering it by hand. I'll listen to some crazy shit. If I'm doing some if I do TIG welding or something, it's nice to listen to something slower, some classical, something.
Oh yeah.
Or, something slow.
Sick.
I don't know. I like sad music, but yeah, I don't know what motivates you to motivates me to make art. It's been a while since I've made just sculpture. It's been knives, and that's about it. Maybe I'm trying to make the handles more sculptural, because a knife is pretty much a flat object. Besides the handle is the only thing really three-dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to incorporate sculpture into the handle, maybe make it something representational, figurative looking handle, and have that go into the blade. Or maybe it'll the blade itself will actually be more three-dimensional, where the handle's coming off onto the blade. I'd like to experiment with that more.
Dope. Dude, that's fucking badass. I like
Nice.
that. How long have you had all your tattoos? Because I wanted to ask you about that.
Since I was a teenager.
Teenager?
Yeah.
Have you had the sleeves since you were a teenager, or it's you've just been piecing it together?
There's the old ones.
Damn.
Yeah.
Did you get to pick out the art, or was it just a guy that you knew that you're oh, I like what you're doing?
It's a guy that I liked his artwork,
Dope.
Just when I saw his paintings, I was just I know I want this guy to do my tattoos.
Sick. Do you paint?
I like to paint, yeah.
Straight, just
like on a canvas?
Yeah.
Yeah. I started a canvas with my daughter. It's a pretty big canvas. So we've been kind of collaborating on that piece,
Sick.
I put a book on her head and drew a line so I know how tall she is. So as we paint it, I measure her and put that on the canvas and write the date. So I could see her height as we paint it. We'll just keep painting it. It's got her handprints on it. She tells me what to paint. She likes robots, so it's got a robot on there. She likes dinosaurs. There's some dinosaurs on there.
Dude.
She likes alligator right now, so she's probably gonna be an alligator on there soon. But it's fun.
What's it like?
It's fun to let her do it too.
Yeah.
Not just me just painting it.
What's it like to see her develop and put those ideas? You're seeing the wheels turn, right? That's what you're as you're doing that, as you're seeing her grow and start to develop more. Is that just a trip for you to maybe see certain aspects of you in her that you're does she have that artistic touch, if you will?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's fun to watch, for sure. Yeah, I think she'll get into art, but yeah, whatever it is she gets into, I'll support. But yeah, it's cool to see, she has a really good memory. I don't have a good memory, but it's cool just the songs that she remembers, that she can just sing off the top of her head. Yeah. So that's, it's inspiring, She's like, yeah, it's cool, it's to see her, see how smart she gets, just every day, it's just, she's already smarter than me, It's 2.5.
Is that age to go into school? No school yet?
Not yet.
Damn. Nah, I'm super foreign. That's really rad, man. To be able to see that, I think that's they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? I mean, like my parents, my mom is a professional photographer, and my dad, he's this painter.
Sick.
But dude, I don't draw.
No?
I shoot photos and videos for
Yeah.
sure, but like I don't draw really. Like my dad is just, like I said, he's just so gifted with that. But it was funny, is like I was talking to my parents once, and I was like, you guys are such artists. Like I'm not anything like that. Like, what are you talking about? They're like, you do coffee, you shoot these videos, like you're creating art all the time. It's a different way of looking at the world, and you're expressing yourself in a different way.
Yeah.
But my mom would tell me, like when I was super young, like 2.5 years old, she was like, dude, you were just so, you already knew you were going to do things your way. And that's what it was. Like, it was like, you had it figured out already at 2.5. I was like, I didn't really know, but I highly disagree. But I love when I get to talk to homies that, are at those early stages. Cause since I don't have any kids of mine, like my best friend, Danny Honda, he has 2 daughters. And I remember like I think they're 7 and 5 now. And I remember like going to see him when she had just born his first daughter. And I was just tripping, like looking at her like, what the fuck, dude? Like, oh my God.
Tiny.
You get to see her grow up and see the process and see like when they figure out how to fart, like, or something like that, just something hella random, and you're dying, like that's the thing that comes to mind when I thought about that. But, and then seeing the second baby, and then seeing how they grow into their own personalities, but like they are very much how they were when they were like, little toddlers to now where they're like little kids. It's just like, I think it's just super rad. And I think art, especially, doing a concept of a canvas in painting like that, I think that's genius. I was just at my friend Riley's house this past weekend, and he had 2 huge canvases in his living room, and I was like, he had a canvas of BB, and then BB's like artwork there, and I was like, yo, like are those BB's too? He's like, no, I painted those. I was like, what, really? And he was like, yeah. I was like, it just makes me think like I really want to like experience like, or just do my own, paint a canvas, because it's something so like intimate. It's from your brain to the canvas, and nobody will ever be able to duplicate it. You could copy it if you want, but like
it's still gonna be yours,
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I think that's so dope.
Yeah, I like things, definitely, done by hand, shows the soul in it.
Yeah. Do you believe that when you're making your knives, that's an extension of you? Like that's the energy that you put into it, and that like when somebody grabs that knife, they can almost, in a sense, like it's like a piece of you.
I think so, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
It's weird. Like sometimes, like I'll be at like a flea market selling knives, and like a person will pick up a knife and look at it, and I have like maybe 50 knives on the table, and then another person will come by and like pick up the same knife, and like might happen like a few times in a row. It's kind of weird.
So there's something about that knife.
Yeah, but maybe because someone touched it. I don't know. It's really strange.
When you're selling your knives, and like, if they're an extension of you, is there ones that you want to sell more than the others, or you're just like, fuck it, buy them all? Like,
yeah, I'll sell everything I make.
Yeah.
It's something I made for like my daughter, like pretty much sell everything I make.
Dude, that's dope. Where are you selling right now? Like what flea markets?
Since COVID, I just been doing like, pop-ups at like, people's homes and stuff. And I'm doing one this month at Biggs Harley.
What was it?
Biggs Harley.
Biggs Harley?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the 21st, I think.
Oh, this month?
Yeah.
Dude, fuck yeah. You just go like set up around like noon until they close or something like that?
I forget what time it goes from till like 3, I think. Yeah.
Sick. And that works out perfectly. You'd ride a chopper too, or you
Yeah.
ride a bike.
Yeah.
It's a bike, chopper.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
a bike.
Fuck yeah. How long you been riding bikes?
Since I was in high school.
Damn. Dude, that's another thing I never got into. I was just like, I got on one bike. I got on like a 50, and I crashed it first go. Super bummed about it because it was the homie's bike. Like that, like we were on a lake. This is like my first girlfriend ever, and they were like, "Connor, have you ever ridden a motorcycle?" I was like, "Nah." They're like, "Oh, get in the 50, you're fine." Like, and I like kind of was mobbing it around like the little lake, like, "Oh, you know, whatever." And then they're like, "All right, if you're gonna go fast though, you got to put on some gear." So I put on the gear, and I was mobbing, and like, I just went around the corner, and I don't even know what happened. I just like, and I flew off, and then like, bike went flying, I went flying, got all cut up.
You got hurt?
I got hurt, and then, but I was fine. It was like, you know, skateboarder. It's like, yeah, it's just whatever. It's just dirt and blood. It's fine. But whatever I did to the bike, I broke it, and my girlfriend's dad was just so bummed on me. He was like, "Dude, you broke." I'm like, "Well, I'll fix it. Like, what do I need to do?" And he's just like, "You are not gonna be able to fix this." And I was just like, "My bad." Like, dude. Oh, and then after that, I was just like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna do this." Like, I'm not. Dude, I remember like my girlfriend at the time, she was riding like a 250, and I remember like I was so scrawny and small. I was like, "How do you ride this thing? This thing's so heavy. Like, what are you talking about?" You just like, she was just mobbing it. She was like the same weight as me, but I couldn't do it. Like Shay, when I met Shay, he was riding bikes. I was just like, "You guys are fucking gnarly." Just different type of lifestyle though. Have you ever heard of Born Free?
Like motorcycle show or something?
Yeah, it's a motorcycle show. Yeah,
I've heard it. I haven't been to it.
we're gonna be going in a couple weeks to it, but apparently it's like a huge motorcycle thing, and I was just like, I'm really excited to like see this again. More experiences, more like new things to learn. But
live and learn.
What kind of bike you riding right now?
Harley.
Harley?
Softail, yeah.
Choptail. I'll have to look that up.
Okay. Softail.
Oh, Softail.
Yeah.
Okay. So is it like, you know, I've gotten jobs for coffee roasting because of like, you know, I'm either Mexican or, you know, some people like know me because of this or that and this, but it's literally, I get these jobs because of the things that I have on my podcast and who I am and culturally and stuff. Do you get some pop-ups because you're into bikes, or like people reach out or certain things like that?
Yeah, I did do a set up knives for they were like raffling off a bike for someone's family that I think they had cancer or something. It was to raise money for that family.
Oh, dope.
And so they were like raffling off a Harley for that. So I went to that. I actually like met him here when I was doing the pop-up here.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Dude, fuck yeah.
That was cool.
Dude, I love it. Well, dude, we're coming up on an hour and a half.
All right, sounds good.
Dude, so tell the people, I mean, I know we just said on the 21st at, say it again.
Biggs Harley.
Biggs Harley. Where is that? Is that here in Oceanside?
San Marcos.
San Marcos?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's going to be, excuse me. Oh my goodness. August 21st, Biggs Harley. That's your next, is that your only pop-up for this month?
Yeah.
Okay. And then where can people find you? Like, is it just on Instagram, or is it like Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff, or just Instagram?
I'm just doing Instagram.
And what's the tag?
Mae Knives.
At Mae Knives?
Yeah.
MaeNives.
That's right.
Fuck yeah. Dude, DJ, I really appreciate you coming through, bro. And like, I apologize if I'm a little over anxious and like happy to like just pick your brain, because I just wanted to know.
Appreciate it, man. It's cool talking to you.
Most def, G. Well, I always tell people too, once you've been on the podcast, this won't be the last time. So
sounds good.
Fuck yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Peace.
Peace.
Yes, thank you so much, DJ. That was an amazing podcast. And guys, head on over to at MaeKnives. That's Mae Knives, to see all of his amazing work and those custom handles. And he's doing it for his daughter. So gotta love it. DJ, thank you again, brother. And I just want to say thank you to all you amazing people who are helping with the Kickstarter, donating, all you people who continue to listen to the podcast around the world, domestically, internationally. Guys, thank you so much. Head on over to caffeineandgreenroasting.com today. And guys, just thank you. Head on over to the Kickstarter, C&G Coffee Truck or Caffeine and Green Food Truck in the search bar. And if you can, donate today. Thank you guys so much. And last, just take care of each other. I know things are getting scary again out there, guys. So please wear your mask, take care of each other, show love, and just whatever. I will see you guys next week. Mad love. Peace.